Awesome. So thank you so much for getting on, Sid. Sid and I, we met this year at Celebration. She's in the Start movement as well. She's absolutely killing it. She's been in the business currently for 14 months. She's already at the rank of 2-star Golden Circle Crystal Executive. And we actually talked last week as I was seeking some advice from her on Instagram. And a lot of people wanted to hear her advice. So I asked her if she'd get on and do a little interview to share with the team. And so here she is. So thank you so much for getting on, Sid.
You're so welcome. I'm so excited. Thank you for asking me to hop on today.
Absolutely. So to start, how do you brand yourself on Instagram, and like what type of categories do you use to post about, and just the general basics?
Yeah, so as far as like categories on Instagram, Zach and Eden, who are in my upline, obviously, they interviewed Audrey Moss a couple months back, and that is a great training for anyone to plug into. It's on their YouTube channel. I would highly recommend doing that. That's going to be a great tool and resource when it comes to branding, and that's really the steps that I followed to brand myself. I created my ideal avatar for Isogenics. Her name is Emily, and she has a husband that moved down for, like, she's a real person to me. She dresses a certain way. I have a Pinterest board for her. It's super, super loserish, but it just helps me like idealize who I'm speaking to when I am branding myself. And she's the type of person who would come onto my page and be like, wow, I want to work with this girl. So that's kind of how in my mind I'm speaking to someone when I'm branding myself on Instagram, especially. I like to focus just on Instagram. I don't do too much Facebook just because my network is really on Instagram. But as far as posting, again, I chose 5 topics that I like to speak about on my page. And by posting 5 different topics, it basically gives you and Audrey talks about this in the training, she explains it all, but it really gives you a broad stroke of a lot of different aspects of your life. But it's not just total randomness. Like, here's me at a bar with my friends. Like, I'm not going to post that. That's not for my brand. So mine include like nutrition, wellness. So like Isogenics products in the background talking about, health and wellness, and then workouts, which I don't do very rarely anymore. I used to do those a lot more. And then business meetings, events, and then community. So I'll post around those 5 different topics, and then I'll kind of just rotate through those. And that's been really helpful for me if I'm like, I don't know what to post about, I'll just go back to that. I'm like, okay, what haven't I posted about? Well, community. So I'll focus on community today.
Perfect. That's awesome. And so far, I mean, you build most of your business through Instagram right now, right?
Yeah, like I would honestly say 95 to 99% of it has all been Instagram. But keep in mind, that is not people reaching out to me. That's me reaching out to people. I don't post and pray. I don't post and just hope that one of the people that commented on my photo is going to message me, or someone that follows me is going to message me and reach out. I realize that that's just not how the psychology of people works. Like, we get to reach out to those people and start a conversation, make a connection, make a relationship, and then ask them to take a look from there.
Awesome. So I guess that leads into the next question. How do you find prospects on Instagram, like pick who you want to connect with, and then how do you actually connect with them?
Yeah. So something I used, and I still do, I pre-qualify people. I go onto their page. If it's someone that it looks like I'd want to work with, I reach out to them. And I also realize that sometimes it's the people that you're not going to expect that would want or need this the most. And so I really look at any any comment, any follow as an opportunity for that person to be a prospect. So if I post a poll on my Instagram stories, anyone who votes on that is instantly a prospect. So I look at engagement as a potential prospect. Whether or not I think they'd be a good fit or not, that's not for me to decide. And so that's how I've really been able to start a lot of conversations. And really, like most of us know, network marketing is a numbers game. So the more people we talk to, the higher chance that, we're going to reach out to someone who's open to taking a look. And really, that's our only goal, is to ask them if they're open to taking a look. If they're not, cool. And if they are, awesome. And then if I've kind of like dried out the current followers that I have, this is something that I used to do when I was like trying to build my Instagram, is I would go on to influencers that I really liked. I wouldn't go on to Isogenics influencers because that doesn't really make sense. We're all, we're all in the same community. So I would go on to influencers like Amanda Bucci when I was into fitness a lot. I'm trying to think of some other people. I call it like Tone It Up. They have a great following, and I'd go into those pages and I'd comment on some of their posts. I'd interact with the people who are interacting on their posts, who are liking their posts, who are following them. I'd interact with those people because they have a similar vision to me. And I'm like, well, they could be a potential prospect. So I'd go in, interact on those pages. If someone interacts back, I message them, I reach out to them, I create a quick relationship with them, and then I kind of feel it out and see how it goes from there. But that was really effective when you feel like your network is kind of dried up, which if you go through your list of followers and actually go through it and the people you follow, your list isn't dried up. I can guarantee none of us have reached out to every single person that's on our Instagram accounts right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. I go through sometimes and I look through it. I'm just like, there's so many people I could still talk to.
I know. I'm like, how did I miss all these people?
So I guess leading from that, how do you take it from online to offline? So you connect with these people. What do you do to kind of present to them what we have with Isogenics and try to convert them into a customer?
Yeah, this is like my favorite part because I think a lot of people get nervous with this. And we just get to keep it really, really simple. My strategy is to basically build a quick relationship with them. And most of the time, I build a quick relationship with them, ask where they're from, ask what they do for work, what they do for fun, where they live, if they love living there. And then I kind of just leave it. And I'm like, awesome, I just wanted to check in, connect with, new people on Instagram is really fun for me. And then just like leave that conversation. Doesn't mean you have to do it every time. If someone's like really into asking you questions and stuff, keep going. But I'll just leave it. I'll follow back up a couple days later and I'll literally just say, hey girl, I know we just connected the other day, or hey bro, like whatever. I don't talk to a lot of guys, but you can use this for guys too. Like, hey girl, I know that we just connected the other day. And I just can't your name keeps popping up into my head. I feel like you would absolutely crush it at what I do. Are you open to having a conversation and just connecting? And if they're like, yeah, like let's connect. What's it about? And I'd be like, hey, I'm like really bad at getting back to my DMs. Here's my number. Can you shoot mine or can you shoot yours over to me? I'll send you a quick text and we can schedule a time to chat. Super, super easy. If you go in direct, it can be the same kind of conversation. And I always lead with that. I don't know if I've ever led with the products. If someone asks me like, what are these products? I'll talk to them about that. I'm not going to be like, so there's this great business opportunity. I'll tell them about that later. But I would say 90% of the time I'm leading with the opportunity, because if they don't want the opportunity, then I can be like, well, there's some amazing products that we also offer. What are your health goals? And you can't do the reverse. You can't be like, oh my gosh, there's these amazing products. And they're like, I don't want them. Well, there's also a good business opportunity, but you don't want the product. So that's not going to make any sense. So always leading with the business opportunity has been really, really effective.
Awesome. And so like you said, you kind of just try to get them on the phone immediately, right? Or like to attend some type of presentation. You never message back and forth about the business or anything like that. You take it from, well, go ahead, but you kind of skip that part of the process, right? You don't message back and forth about that.
I used to, and it was not good. And I would just like word vomit on everyone. And I'd be like, there's this amazing opportunity. And it's like not a pyramid scheme. And like all, all the nerve word vomit. So now I literally, if someone asks me questions, I'll be like, I can explain all of this when we connect. Bring any questions that you have. And I'm really just here to answer your questions. I'm not here to push you into anything you're not ready for. It's really just to get to know each other and see if this would be a good fit. And if they're like, well, how much does it cost? I'm just like, I'll explain it all on the call. And having that posture, people are like, okay, they're not going to be like, well, I'm not getting on the call then. I've never had that. So don't have an agenda when you get on the call too. That's a really big thing. When I get on the call with someone, I'm not like, okay, I'm going to talk about this and this and this and this. I ask them questions. I'm not on to like word vomit at them. I'm on to actually connect, see if we would be a good fit. Ask them what their vision is, ask them what, they can see with their life. And then I supply the solution of Isogenics if that's the thing that they need. If it's not, I don't think this is a good time for you with Isogenics. I'm not just trying to sign up anybody with a credit card. I used to do that because I was like desperate. I was like, I just want anyone to join me. But I've built such a belief, and we get to work on that belief. And then when you get someone on the phone, it's really just supplying the solution that's actually going to benefit their life at this time.
Awesome. That's perfect. Yeah, because I think a lot of people struggle with that. I think a lot of people get into messaging back and forth instead of just taking it offline, because when you're on the phone, then people see that you're a real person. I feel like on Instagram, you're a profile. And then once you can connect with them and then actually, answer their questions and figure out what it is that they want, it's so important to be able to do that instead of just getting caught up online. So
that's the difference. That's huge.
Awesome. So another question. So stories and posts. So what is something that you put on your story that you don't post on your wall? Like, what do you decide what type of content goes where?
Oh, that's a good question. So I think that the content you post on your wall should be like literally a highlight reel. Like those should be good quality photos, nice lighting. You don't need professional photos. You can have a friend take them, but go get a bunch of content. Use those. Use the Color Story app, and you can organize them to kind of see how they would look in your grid. Sorry, these like lights just fell in here. It scared me. It's like, okay. And organize those so that they look really good. That's what I've been doing, and it's helped so much just with the flow of my page, and it's gotten so much better. And then as far as stories go, that's kind of your like day-to-day real life. Like I'm not going to just post a picture of a dog on my wall, because that's not something that someone will come on. Think of your page as like a poster board for you. It's like advertising you. If someone sees it's really aesthetic, they're going to be like, oh, I'll read a caption. Oh, I'll stay and watch a story. That's where you're going to put the lifestyle stuff. And if they see all of that and it's something that like resonates with them, then they'll follow you. And once you have a follower, then you can reach them more often. So getting them to be attracted to your page is really important in the beginning. And then posting on your story is going to be the real life stuff, the stuff that makes you funny or that makes you quirky or that makes you you. And that's where it kind of gets fun. I like doing stories. They're kind of fun. And that's where I get the most engagement too. I get a ton of engagement on stories, a ton of leads and prospects just from people messaging me back. And if they message me, even if it's about a podcast or like some dog I posted, that's a prospect to me.
Absolutely. So I actually had an issue with my Instagram for a while. I don't know what's going on, but I wasn't able to use polls. And I know a lot of people love using polls as a tool for their business. I figured it out, and I've actually, had a lot of success with it. But do you use polls often on your stories to get prospects?
I used to use them a lot more, and I need to get back to it. But I think posting a poll that's like an actual call to action I would do it like every Monday and Thursday, because those are my big days on Instagram. And I actually have typed up a bunch of ideas that I can send you and you can give to all the people watching this, of ideas of polls that I can use. And it's like, do you prefer, meal prepping or eating out? Things like that. Do you prefer, or like how much money on a monthly basis would make a radical difference in your life right now? You can put $500 to $1,000, $1,000 plus. Either way, someone votes, you can message them. I did a whole thing on that where every single person that voted, I messaged them and I was like, hey, I saw you voted on my poll. If you had an extra $1,000 this month, what would you be able to do that you can't do? And they'd be like, oh, I get to travel and like go back to school, like whatever they want to do. And I'd say, awesome, if I could show you a way to do that, would you be open to taking a look? And I did that with everyone, and I enrolled like 10 people off of it. So that was a really, really good one.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Because I've seen a lot of people, I know a lot of people use polls, and like you said, call to action. It's not just a random poll about some random topic. It's about something specific. And then it's a great reason to reach out to them because clearly they're looking for the solution.
Totally. And you can do like really low key ones. Like I did one today, literally before this call, and I said like my favorite part about working from home is that I only have to get ready like halfway up my body. And then I made a poll and I said, do you agree? And it said, yes, girl, or no, I don't work from home. So then anybody who doesn't work from home, those are a prospect.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, exactly. And that's my favorite part too. I'm wearing flip-flops and gym shorts right now. And
I know, like I have sweatpants on.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, just a couple more just basic questions. So how often do you post on Instagram?
The algorithm likes once per day. And then on IG stories, it likes about 5 to 15 posts per day. I've been really bad with stories lately, but I try and post every single day. I'm trying to get a consistent time that works, but if you can post at a consistent time, people remember like, oh, it's 7:00. Sydney's posting today, whatever that is. But once per day is enough. You don't need to be like spamming your page. And I think one good quality post is better than, 3 subpar posts.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And then you sort of touched on this before when we were talking about stories versus regular posts, but do you follow a theme on your Instagram page, like for the entire, the whole grid, the entire page?
I do. I don't know if it's like I try and make everything look really aesthetic, but when, I have that idea of like what my ideal prospect would love to see when she comes onto my page. And that's just like someone who's really positive and inspiring and cares about the success of other people and is happy. And when I go to my page, I think that I've done a really great job of doing that. But coming up with the feeling of when your ideal client comes to your page, what you want them to feel is important. And then when they go onto your stories, it needs to also show that. And that's something that I always get is like, oh my gosh, you're glowing on your stories. And I'm like, it's the isogenics, like that's what I want to portray. And that's what my life really is like. I'm very authentic. I don't hide much. Like I'm an open book. So stories I think should be in line with your page, but it also can just be random fun stuff that you're doing throughout the day, And highlights are really important. Making those highlight tiles was like the best thing I did. I still have people going through that and messaging me and being like, what do you do? I want to learn more. So those are really, really important to have.
You're right, because the highlights, I didn't have those for a while, and I have so much travel, like little like Instagram stories and Snapchats I took, and I finally like took some time to just go back and do all those different categories, and people message me all the time too. They're like, wow, you traveled so much, like that's awesome. So that's
yes, it's like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Best thing ever.
Well, I mean, do you have like, that's all the questions we had for you prepared. Do you have any other tips or anything that you just like, any general suggestions for people?
Yeah, I do. Of course I do. I really want people to understand that Instagram is not an income producing activity. Instagram is a tool to help generate a couple leads. And by you posting on Instagram, that is not an income producing activity. So if you want to focus on prospecting, enrolling, following up, rank advancement, those are your income producing activities. And posting on Instagram is just the marketing behind that. That's not an actual activity. So you going on and messaging 10 people in a row doesn't really take that long, but that is an income producing activity where you're asking them to take a look or you're connecting with them and then asking them to take a look. Just keep in mind what's going to be a distraction and what's actually helping you build your business, because I don't see posting on Instagram as like, oh, I built my business today. It's like, oh, I posted on Instagram so that I have the resources to go out and message the people who like the picture. Because like yesterday I posted a picture, got a lot of likes. All those 800 people, I'm going to go back and message all of them today. That's the income producing activity. So keep in mind that, we get to focus, we get caught up in like, oh, if I post on Instagram, I'm building my isogenics business from home, where that's not really it. That's not really it. And the amount of people I reach out to, I get ignored a lot. Like, don't take people ignoring you or saying no as a bad thing. Take it as like, okay, what can I do next time? And who can I find that's open to taking a look? And don't get upset with those people who ignore you or don't talk to you, because truthfully, like the numbers for me, if I reach out to 100 people, I would say 70 either ignore me or say no. 30 might respond and be like, well, can you tell me more? and like, 28 might say that. And then 2 might be like, yeah, I'm open to taking a look. So the numbers truly are like that for me. I have a lot of people ignore me. I don't want anybody to think like, oh, it's just easy for her. Like everyone just says yes, or, she's just enrolling all these people. I'm talking to hundreds of people a week, not tens of people a week, like hundreds. So just keep that in mind, that you don't have to work that hard if you already have a network, but I'm into a lot of my cold, lukewarm network, and it takes a little bit more work and a little longer. But just keep your numbers up and remember it's not always just like, it's easy for those people who are really successful in isogenics,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great point too, because there's a lot of people and big people in our company that have tons of followers and stuff. And everyone's just like, oh, well, it's different for them. Like they have that big established brand and people probably just come to them and just want to enroll. So that's a really, I like that you said that because it really is the numbers. It's so important, especially like you said, when you get into that like cold, lukewarm market, it's going to take talking to more people to enroll more people. It's not your best friends and your family and people you grew up with and stuff like that. So that's awesome.
Totally. Totally. And one more thing, when you're, talking to people, like my network was very young, and I get that a lot from the start movement. Like, oh, I work with college kids and no one has the money. And it's our job to build the value around the products enough so that people find a way to make the money to pay for the products. Most of the enrollments I had in the first year, I think out of like 100 enrollments, probably 70 to 80% were under 24. So, and 90% value packs. So you just get to really build the value and never count anybody out. It's always the people who you don't think on Instagram, especially, that want this the most. So just never prejudge, ask everyone to take a look. And if they want to stick around, cool. And if they don't, no attachment,
Absolutely. That's a great point too, because when I did my first network marketing business, I was 18 years old. And I started with a $550 system because I saw the value in what was possible with network marketing. So that's
Totally.
a completely good point. Show the value of what this is, not just, the products. It's the value and the opportunity.
Exactly. I enrolled a girl yesterday, just for example. She's 22 years old. She's been in another network marketing company. We had connected months ago, and she's like, I'm just going to stick with my company. And I was like, cool. She reached out to me yesterday. We got on the phone for the very first time. We chatted. We just connected. I had no agenda. And by the end of it, she enrolled on a value pack, and she goes, that's so cheap. She's like, with everything you said, I thought it was going to be like $1,000, $1,500. So building that value is just so, so important.
Huge. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for getting on and taking the time to do this. I'll definitely send you this recording as well, and keep killing it. Thank you so much for helping our team. And
Thank you. I was so honored when you asked me. Thank you so much for having me on.
absolutely. So thank you, Sid.
Yep. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.